Cruising along in my automobile. Well, not really my automobile, boss's automobile. The one I'm buying off of them. And there's a lot of arguments humans make. I had a guy in the store the other night that was a Trump supporter, and that's fine, I suppose, you know, but he was a Trump supporter and was trying to make the case for more guns. And look, I'm a firm believer that the Second Amendment is a good thing. But the Second Amendment is horribly misunderstood, mistranslated, misinterpreted. Take your fucking pick of words to say that you got it fucking wrong. Look, the first four words of the books of the Declaration of Independence, the Constitution, the first four words of the Second Amendment are a well-regulated militia. How many of you people out there screaming about the gun rights are in a militia? That's a question I know the answer to. I'm betting most of the people who are asked that question don't even know what a militia is. So, if you're in a militia, if you're not in a militia, let's go ahead and set that specific question aside. And we'll go ahead and focus on words 2 and 3. Well-regulated. Well-regulated is the part that everybody wants to skip past, that it has to be regulated. Have you met humans? So a well-regulated militia, properly trained, properly armed, properly maintained, and regulated. Well, I mean, let's all just skip past the part where we should just give guns to everybody. You know, whether you know how to use one or not. And of course, all the fucking gun nuts always act like, you know, oh, we're not talking about just everybody. Just that everybody should have the right. And everybody does basically start off with the right. You have the right as a citizen of the United States to own a firearm. It's the Second Amendment. You do not have the right to own any firearm you want, as many of you want, and the government doesn't get to know. That's not what well-regulated means. Well-regulated means that if you want to have 100 rifles and 1,000 rounds of ammunition in your fucking basement, the government gets to know it. You have to register it. You have to announce that you have them. You had to do that back then, too. It's just records were a whole lot shittier, and there were a lot more ways for people to get around the rules. And that's the thing. Everybody's like, well, criminals won't follow the rules. Right. And that's why they're criminals. And that's why they get prosecuted. Because there are rules, and they are breaking the rules. If you're a normal, law-abiding citizen, you're not breaking the fucking rules. No, you don't have anything to worry about. If your gun suddenly becomes illegal, no, you're still not a criminal until you take that gun and decide that you're going to keep it illegally. Oh no, it's my gun, I'm going to keep it. Well, why are you keeping it? To defend yourself against the federal government? Are you stupid? Which one of your guns is going to do that? And you got a howitzer tucked in your back room? You're not keeping it for that. And let's be fucking blunt about this. The AR-15, the Armalite rifle, is not any more dangerous than a 410 shotgun or a 3-06 or any other hunting rifle out there, except that the AR-15 is not an accurate hunting rifle. Since the program began. You do not need a rifle for home defense. If you have a rifle and you're shooting it inside your home, you're likely going to shoot through your walls. Unless you live in a concrete bunker. The only reason the AR-15 exists is they wanted to make a standard rifle that looked as intimidating as an M16 military issue assault rifle. They wanted it to look scary. And if you want something to look scary, and you make it look scary, You can't blame the average person for being a little scared of it. You can't turn around and go, oh, you're a bunch of pussies for being afraid of the gun that's designed to look intimidating. Fuck you. That's the whole point of why they made the gun look the way they did. It doesn't add anything to its accuracy. It does not help it stay cleaner. It does not improve the weapon whatsoever. It only makes it look more intimidating. Now, that being established, that the AR is no different than any other rifle out there, that it only is intended to look intimidating, you have to accept that, well, then the company kind of called this scrutiny upon itself. That the intention to make it look like a scarier gun was done on the part of the company to make it look like a scary gun, to attract more people to buy what is essentially the same as any other fucking rifle. So you don't need to own an AR if it's the same as any other rifle. You're only wanting to own it because it's scary looking. Not because it's a better rifle, because there are so many better rifles on the fucking market. I'm not going to bother to name any because you can look that shit up yourself. Look up top 5 rifles on the market. Just look it up at anything. Google, Bing, whatever right-wing fucking website search engine you use. The AR is not a very good hunting rifle. It's not very good for home defense. It is good for intimidation of a person you're pointing it at. And that's all it's good for.
So he loved having people on to demonstrate.
The AR-15 argument doesn't even come into the discussion about the Second Amendment, as far as I'm concerned. The AR-15, if you took everything off of it, you take the barrel and you switch all the accoutrements and the neat-looking parts, and you switched out for a wooden stock and a wooden fucking hand grip. Is it as good a rifle as any other rifle? No, it's less accurate. And it doesn't look as intimidating as an AR-15, which means it won't sell as much. See where this is going?
I remember that's one of my favorite moments from the show.
Is seeing him walk through the door.
Right, and if you model options,
there should be a Second Amendment. While the quote is misattributed and probably didn't actually get used during the Second World War, there's a quote that's attributed to the Japanese emperor that was basically, you can't attack America. There would be a rifle behind every blade of grass.
How did you decide?
And that's not entirely accurate, but it's that mentality that has, I believe, kept America from being attacked a great many times. There are so many options where people could have come over and tried to attack the United States, but it would never be a successful invasion. There's far too much homegrown defense.
Articles about them in the New Yorker, and so I called them up.
And that's the militias, basically the armed civilian populace. But they're supposed to be trained. Back in the day, everybody was a part of it. Everybody, because America didn't have a standing army. The standing army was the armed civilian populace. We've moved past that, though. We've moved so far past that. And the whole way along, we've kind of fought to change any part of the rules that we've had. And I can understand that. Change is difficult for humans.
Really, I mean, when it was going...
But the Second Amendment needs some errata. It needs to be adjusted and have it explained so that people understand clearly what well-regulated means. What do they mean by a militia? Exactly why are the commas in the position they are? Is it a quantitative statement? Is it an indicative statement? Is it a possessive part? Explain it. Have the Supreme Court ratify it and say, yes, this is what it means. And then move on from there. You're always going to have some dickbag going, no, I don't like it, because it totally fucks up their game. But so what? The way society works is you are supposed to make the rules so that they don't harm the lowest common denominator of your society, and so that they are geared to benefit everybody from that point up. Like we have to have labels on all of our records because one or two musicians decided to push the envelope and one or two parents decided to go the exact opposite extreme. We have to have warning labels on products because somebody out there somewhere decided to go ahead and eat a Tide Pod once. Or suggested that they looked like candy, and so somebody else said, well, I'll videotape me eating one. Nobody's eating Tide Pods, people. Stop using it as an argument. I'll take gun advice from people who eat Tide Pods. Shut the fuck up. You wanted me to tell about some of the shit that my generation and your generation did? You want to talk about the fucking drinking an 8-ounce bottle of Robitussin DM just to get a fucking buzz? Don't talk shit. You got no room to fucking talk shit. I mean, let's be honest. The millennials are not the reason why Lysol needs a fucking label that says for external use only. That ain't the millennials that did that. It's the fucking baby boomers and the Gen Xers. And I'm not gonna take fucking advice on gun safety from a motherfucker that I gotta program their remote or their phone. I mean, if you're so fucking old that you can't figure out how to use the new tech, you shouldn't be using any of the tech, maybe. Sit the fuck down and let the younger generation deal with it. But I gotta go back into work.